So you're making sales on Amazon, but are you generating any profit? Meaning, are you able to take any of that revenue and keep it in your pocket? Or is it constantly going into new inventory? Are you actually losing money on Amazon? In this video, I'm going to use this free tool, which you can access in the description section below, to know your true net profit, ROI, and cash flow every single month that you sell on Amazon. We literally cover every single expense, everything that you need to know all of your most important numbers. And this free Amazon P&L that I've literally created, it's basically something that Ali and I use for our own business. And before we dive in, first, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Sumner Hobart. My wife and I are 7-figure Amazon sellers, and every single week, we create valuable tutorials like this about Amazon FBA and Amazon PPC and Etsy and Walmart to help sellers like you increase profit and reduce headache. So if that's like something you're interested in, consider hitting that subscribe button and let's get to it. So first, of course, go ahead and access the spreadsheet so you can follow along step by step. And once you get access to the spreadsheet, you can go up here to File, click on Make a Copy, and you'll make your very own copy that you can edit and do whatever you want. You can make, infinite copies if you like as well. So first, we're gonna scroll past this up here. These are automatic kind of important metrics that are calculated based on our inputs as we go through the sheet. So scroll past those for now, and they'll automatically update. Next, we have our months. So for each month, we wanna go ahead and enter all the values kind of for each month. So January, we start here in B, then we move to C, and so on for each month. So for January, let's just say we're starting there. We wanna input all of our Amazon FBA revenue and all of our FBM revenue, okay? And if we actually hover over this cell right here, if you see any cell that has a small kind of black triangle in the top right corner, that means that there's a note with some additional info to try to make this not just kind of a blank document, but kind of a teaching document as well. So your total revenue can be found if you go to your Seller Central account, click on Reports, and then Business Reports, you will see your revenue for any period. So that's where your revenue can be found. If you sell FBM only, put that here. If you only sell FBA, or if you sell a mix of both, there's options here, and the sum is automatically calculated here. So let's say we're FBA sellers, we generated $117,859, then that is our total revenue. Great. Now we want to figure out, how much money is ultimately left over and look at some key metrics there. So revenue, that's easy. A lot of sellers know this. This is where we get to the fun stuff. It's actually not that fun, but it's very important. First, we have COGS, or cost of goods sold. So what is the total production and shipping cost of every product that you sold? So just the products that you sold, what were the costs associated getting them from, let's say, China to Amazon, okay? Now, as you see here in the note, we use Helium 10 to calculate this, and we have a full video showing how to use the Helium 10 Profits tool, which we like to kind of do things manually, and again, use this kind of free tool, but Helium 10 is able to pull a lot of data and organize it in a way kind of from the back end that on the front end of Amazon sellers make it really difficult, okay? There is the new inventory performance dashboard that you could also use as well to find some of this data. But most of this you can find within Seller Central. You can find this as well, but it's just a little bit harder to calculate. So Helium 10 makes it way easier. And again, I'll be linking that video tutorial about the Helium 10 Profits tool in the description section. So yeah, you want to calculate what are the total costs, production plus shipping of every product that you sold. That's your cost of goods sold. Next, we have our Amazon referral fees. So, Amazon put in all this money in marketing and advertising. You're basically paying to play. You're paying per sale to use their platform. There's a reason you're not selling on your website because no one's there on your website, right? There's a lot of people on Amazon. So you're basically paying the referral fee that can be found in your Manage Inventory tab as you see here. So you can see that referral fee. Same thing with Amazon FBA fees. These can be found in your Manage Inventory tab. And these are the kind of like the pick and pack fees, customer service, getting from Amazon and shipping that out to customers. Because cost of goods sold includes shipping from your warehouse to Amazon. FBA fees include shipping from Amazon to your customer, okay? So that's the referral fees, Amazon FBA fees, Amazon storage fees. You can find this under payments, transaction view, and then you search for service fees and you'll find your storage fees there. So a lot of people don't know about all the Amazon fees, so it's super important to know and be tracking this. So your costs from China, all your Amazon fees, and also we added this in here because we do use a 3PL called Deliver. So if you're using a third-party logistics company, you want to include the fulfillment fees and the storage fees of that company as well. If you're just using Amazon for all of your fulfillment, and shipping, you can leave those blank. And then also super important to show refunds and promos. This is the other, there's only 2 in here that we use Helium 10 for. The rest we can do this manually, but we use Helium 10 because Amazon makes it a bit difficult. But you should be able to see this in the payments dashboard on Amazon. Super important to be tracking, especially your refunds, because that kind of plays in. And it's something that a lot of sellers don't take into account, which eats into your net profit. So with all this being said, we get really the worst out of the way and kind of the most complex, in my opinion, my least favorite stuff to do and to keep track of, but it's super important. That gives us our total cost of sales, cost of goods sold with all of our Amazon fees, third-party logistics, refunds and promos, boom. That is our total cost of sales. And then when we subtract our cost of sales from our total revenue, then that gives us our gross margin. Well, actually it's division, so it gives us our gross margin. And I have a note here. This metric at very least should be 30%. Okay, in general, for most accounts, for most objectives, it depends on your business strategy, your capital, where you have additional cash flow coming from. But in general, a really good rule of thumb is make sure your gross margin is 30%. If it's below that, your business is going to be much more difficult to be profitable. It's not going to cash flow as well. It's going to be difficult with inventory management. So 30%. So as you see here, 34, 37, 35, 33. In this account, we're good. Moving down, we've covered kind of one of the big chunks. Now we move to 2 of 3, and that is our marketing and advertising. This is actually the part that I really specialize in. I handle all of this for our own account. So I just wrote a list of all different forms of popular marketing and advertising that Amazon sellers use. So it seems a bit overwhelming. For a lot of sellers, that's just this here, Amazon PPC. So the total amount that you spend, for example, January, February, whenever, this can be found in your campaign manager dashboard in Seller Central. So go to Seller Central, go to advertising, click on campaign manager, and you'll see for any period, your exact spend, revenue, all of that data really simply. So let's say, we spent $21,235 in Amazon advertising in January. We record it here. Over $13,000 here for February and so on. We just record that here. Next, let's say, we spent some money on Google ads or some Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, do we have any influencer content or press releases? All the different kind of forms of marketing you could be spending on, it's kind of right here. So you can go ahead and enter that here. And at the end, the total ad spend will be added here. So the sum of all marketing and advertising is then added here. And the reason for this is we want to really pay attention to ACoS and TACoS. So total cost of sales, as well as our Amazon PPC ACoS. So yeah, enter in all of the kind of marketing and advertising expenses here. Also, make sure you include your Amazon PPC revenue here, which again can be found in your advertising dashboard. That's going to generate our ACoS. So we know our advertising cost of sale. And ACoS, in a way that I like to think about it, is like comparing that to profit margin. So let's say this, I basically can subtract 34% minus our ACoS. That's kind of like what's left over. So the higher the ACoS, the more unprofitable our advertising. The lower the ACoS, the more profitable, if that makes sense. I have full videos on Amazon PPC, so I'm not going to get too much into the weeds. It's an important metric to kind of pay attention to. So we have total ad spend, we have our Amazon PPC revenue, we have our Amazon PPC ACoS, and our TACoS. This is really important. This is our total advertising cost of sale. The reason this is important, because in general, we want to keep this number under 14% in general. So whatever our revenue is, what percent of that revenue do we allocate toward marketing and advertising? In general, given the structure of an Amazon FBA business, of all the Amazon fees and storage fees and cash flow and all of that, a good general rule of thumb is for your TACoS to be somewhere between 10 to 14% for a healthy account, to where you're spending a good amount on marketing and advertising, but you're not spending so much to where you're really bleeding and it's hurting your profitability and cash flow. Okay, so that's a good kind of general metric, but of course it depends on your specific business. So that's a way you can kind of easily check here. You can easily look at total ad spend. And then after we've now deducted total cost of sales, we deduct our total ad spend, and that gives us our ad adjusted gross margin. And the reason we do this is because we kind of want to see, how much money is left over after our cost of sales and our advertising. Just kind of another metric there. So we kind of go through the layers and we can see if anything's a little bit off balance. Like let's say, our gross margin, hey, we're looking great. Gross margin is good. It's at, it's 35%. That's within our goal. Great. But then we get to ad adjusted gross margin, and let's say it was like 10%. Ooh, way low. That's not a lot left over for all these other business expenses, if that makes sense. So we've got 2 of the big 3 kind of categories of expenses, and now we move into the last. So here again, You can edit any of these. There's a lot that are not going to be relevant to your business at all, but you can change the name of any of these. You can even delete any of these rows that aren't relevant to you. But we just listed some realistic additional business expenses, as you can kind of see here, all here in the gray section. So our Amazon seller account, Google keyword tools, ManyChat, PickFu for survey data, product images and videography, any virtual assistants or team members, bookkeeper, GS1 barcodes, business insurance, all of these different kinds of expenses. You can edit, adjust, just give you some real examples and delete as many as you want. So it should be maybe even larger than what you need. We want to make sure that everything's included there. So for each expense, just write down what the expense is here in the far left. This is column A. Then record how much it costs. So if you have a professional seller account, right now that's about $40 US per month. So go ahead and include that, and then the same for all of these other ones. So straightforward, similar to all the other ones. It's just, we've calculated everything. This is basically the catch-all, like what isn't marketing, advertising, or shipping, or Amazon fees and all of that. Whatever's left over, that's kind of here in this big section to make sure we're capturing everything to where we know our true profit. Super, super important. Then after we include that, we know our total business expenses. And then we subtract, just to show you how it works, total revenue minus total cost of sales minus our total ad spend here, minus our total business expenses. That gives us our net profit or loss. Hopefully not a loss, but net profit or loss. This is what's left over. After everything's said and done, every single thing is accounted for. This is what's left over. Keep in mind, if you're Christian or Jewish or Muslim, paying tithe or giving to charity might be involved there, or also, of course, taxes. So keep those in mind. You can add those in or calculate if you like, but to keep things simple, and make this kind of cross-cultural, we have our net profit here. We also have our net margin, okay, and our ROI. So net margin for healthy Amazon accounts, from what we've seen in general, we like this number to be between 15 to 20%. This is our personal goal as well. We want our net margin after everything's said and done to be between 15 to 20%. It's really good to shoot for with the Amazon FBA business model. Now for ROI, return on investment, okay, we want this to be 100% or more. And this is more of a metric for cash flow, okay? So ROI is net margin divided by cost of goods sold. So an ROI of 100% or more, even 150%, 200% is great to have healthy cash flow. The lower your ROI, the more you make money, right? You're making profit, then it goes right back into more inventory. You make profit from that inventory, it goes back into more inventory and so on. Basically with ROI, you don't want your money to constantly be tied up in buying future inventory, right? For the future sales and so on. So a good general rule is 100 to 200% plus is a very healthy ROI for an Amazon FBA business. Below that, you might run into some cash flow constraints. Now, in our case, we have multiple income streams. So, from digital products that we sell on Etsy, from YouTube, from Udemy and Skillshare, we can take that cash flow and help kind of fund and float our business. And that actually gives us a competitive advantage over other sellers. But again, if you didn't understand that, ignore it. In general, just kind of follow these rules. But that's basically it. It looks kind of monstrous. It looks a bit scary, but it's important. And it's really not that difficult. Once you get the hang of it, it's nothing. Either you or a team member, or you can kind of outsource this as well. And as you fill this out throughout the year, the kind of average gross margin, net profit, and so on is going to automatically be updated. So this is on an annual basis. So in this case, for this example, our gross margin is 35.1%, which is within our target. We wanted that to be 30% or above, so we're good there. For a net margin, 15 to 20%, so 20.2, that's perfect. That's exactly where we want to be. Our total net profit, good to just know that number. ROI is 83%. So our ROI is a bit lower. Maybe I need to cut some of those lower selling products that are, super, super low ROI. Maybe I need to introduce and launch higher ROI products to get that number up. That's kind of what I'm thinking as I'm looking through these statistics. Our tacos is 13.6%. So getting a little bit on the high end, I might want to watch out because like we said, we want to keep it between 10 to 14%, kind of in general for a healthy account. Our ACoS is 28%. If we have a target for that, then we're great. Let's say our target's 30%. So we're below our max kind of target ACoS. We're good to go. So overall, this is a pretty healthy account minus the kind of ROI here. Everything's kind of recorded here. So we can sleep a little bit better at night, knowing our true profit, cash flow, ROI, all the important numbers. And I hope you found this valuable. Again, you can access the free Amazon P&L spreadsheet in the description section below. It'll be part of the Amazon Seller Vault with over 11 free tools and templates like this that are all there for you. Literally no strings attached. It's all free. And if you're interested in a full, comprehensive step-by-step guide from product research to product launch and beyond, you can access our proven and affordable 5-in-1 Amazon FBA course, which I'll be linking in the description section as well of this video. So we cover, way more than just the profitability and kind of knowing your business, but how to dramatically increase conversion rates, profitability as a whole of your Amazon advertising, all of that and more. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and check it out. Link will be there with a special promo for you. And as always, hope you found it valuable. Really appreciate you watching and your support. God bless you and your business. And until then, I'll see you in the next one.